As J.D. Vance's influence has grown, so has speculation about his future ambitions. In Washington, few believe that he is content with being a first-term senator forever. His sharp messaging, national media presence, and close ties to powerful figures suggest that he is positioning himself for a much larger role. Many political observers see Vance as part of the next generation of conservative leadership. Unlike older Republican figures who rose during the Reagan or Bush eras, Vance belongs to a post-9/11 generation shaped by war, economic collapse, and cultural upheaval. He speaks to younger conservatives who feel disconnected from traditional party politics. This generational shift is important. It gives Vance relevance not just now, but in the decades to come. One area where Vance is especially strategic is media influence. He understands that in modern politics, power is not built only in Congress, but on podcasts, social platforms, television, and online communities. Vance frequently appears on major conservative shows. He uses social media aggressively. He frames issues in emotional, relatable language. This allows him to bypass traditional media and speak directly to his audience. He is skilled at turning complex political topics into simple, powerful narratives. Instead of talking about trade policy, he talks about factories closing. Instead of talking about immigration statistics, he talks about towns changing overnight. Instead of talking about cultural theory, he talks about families falling apart. This storytelling approach is one of his strongest weapons. Because of this, many see him as not just a politician, but a movement figure. Someone who shapes identity, not just policy. However, with influence comes resistance. J.D. Vance is a frequent target of mainstream media criticism. Journalists and commentators often describe him as extreme, divisive, or opportunistic. His past statements are regularly resurfaced. His shifts in position are closely examined. Some accuse him of using anger for political gain. Others argue that he exaggerates cultural problems for attention. Vance responds to this by doubling down. He often accuses the media of being out of touch with ordinary Americans. He frames criticism as proof that he is challenging powerful interests. This creates a cycle. Criticism fuels his base, and his base fuels his confidence. Another growing debate around Vance is his role in reshaping conservatism itself. Traditional American conservatism focused heavily on free markets, small government, and foreign intervention. Vance represents a different strain. He is skeptical of free market absolutism. He is critical of endless wars. He is open to government intervention when it benefits families and workers. This is closer to a nationalist populist model than classic conservatism. This shift is not small. It signals a possible long-term transformation of the Republican Party, and J.D. Vance is one of the faces of that transformation. Some older Republicans are uncomfortable with this direction. They see it as dangerous. They worry about abandoning free market principles. They fear isolationism. They warn of authoritarian tendencies. Vance, in response, argues that the old model failed millions of Americans and that change is necessary. This internal party conflict is one of the biggest political battles in the United States today, and Vance is right in the middle of it. On a personal level, J.D. Vance continues to emphasize his identity as a husband and father. He often speaks about raising children in a chaotic world. He talks about the pressure on families. He criticizes what he sees as cultural confusion and moral instability. These themes are central to his messaging. His wife, Usha Vance, is also an important part of his public image. She is highly educated, professional, and private. Unlike many political spouses, she stays mostly out of the spotlight. This contrast adds to Vance's narrative of seriousness and focus. Their relationship is often presented as an example of stability. At the same time, critics point out the irony that a man who speaks about cultural decline is also deeply connected to elite institutions, Yale, venture capital, political power. They ask, can he truly represent the forgotten, or has he become what he once criticized? That question hangs over his entire career. Supporters answer it simply, he never forgot where he came from.
Critics answer it just as simply: he changed sides. That tension is not going away. Looking ahead, there are several possible paths for J.D. Vance. One path is becoming a long-term Senate power broker, shaping legislation, influencing party direction, and building alliances. Another path is aiming for executive office, either as a presidential candidate or as a vice presidential contender. His age, energy, and national recognition make both realistic possibilities. There is also the possibility that he becomes a permanent cultural warrior, less focused on lawmaking and more focused on shaping ideology, someone who influences how people think, not just how they vote. History will decide which path he takes. What is clear is that J.D. Vance is not a background figure. He is not quiet, he is not neutral, he does not blend in. He challenges, he provokes, he divides, he mobilizes. He represents a kind of anger that has been building in America for decades. Anger at economic loss, anger at cultural change, anger at political elites, anger at feeling invisible. Vance did not create this anger, but he knows how to speak to it. And that is power. From a broken home in Ohio, to the battlefields of Iraq, to the classrooms of Yale, to the halls of the U.S. Senate, J.D. Vance's life is a study in contradiction, resilience, and ambition. He is a product of American pain and a player in American power. The next chapters of his story will not just shape his legacy, they may shape the direction of the country itself.